I came here for one goal: to knock Liverpool out of their place and take over the throne of English football. You can quote me on that." These were the opening words of Sir Alex Ferguson when he assumed the role of coaching Manchester United. However, those were not just mere words to garner attention. Since then, the history of English football has transformed, and the success of the Red Devils has been restored to its former grandeur. Ferguson's journey, from a little-known player to an aspiring young coach to a towering figure of success, is one of the greatest stories in football history. He has earned a place among the sport's most exceptional managers, and his name will forever be etched in golden letters. In 1958, a 16-year-old promising striker named Alex Ferguson was signed by the Scottish club, Queen's Park. He played 31 matches over 2 seasons and scored 11 goals. After that, he joined various local clubs until he eventually played for Rangers in 1967. It was during his 2-year stint with Rangers that Ferguson played his best football as a player, scoring 25 goals in 41 matches. Despite his impressive performances, he later moved back to playing for smaller clubs and eventually decided to retire from professional football in 1974, at the age of 32. Following his retirement, Alex Ferguson jumped straight into the world of coaching. He started at East Strellians Higher in the same year. The team's abilities were very weak, but the young manager was able to showcase his skills in good management and intelligence, which quickly caught the attention of St. Mirren officials, as they offered him his second coaching assignment before he turned 33 years old. Sir Alex successfully led the team to qualify for the First Division. But despite this achievement, the club's management decided to terminate his contract after 4 years due to significant disagreements between the two parties. And it seems that the young coach had higher aspirations at that time. He quickly found a new opportunity with the Aberdeen club and began working on developing the team. His efforts paid off when he led the team to win the league title in 1980, breaking the 15-year dominance of Celtic and Rangers. In addition, he also led the team to win the cup title in 1882, which further elevated his reputation and attracted the attention of English clubs. Wolverhampton tried to sign him, but Ferguson declined the offer as he wanted to stay with Aberdeen. And his decision was indeed correct, as staying with the club brought more success, including the impressive victory over Real Madrid in the European Cup Winners' Cup final in 1983, as well as winning both the league and cup titles the following year. Despite receiving offers from top clubs like Arsenal and Tottenham, he turned them all down, as if he was waiting for that offer that would bring him and his new team to the ultimate success. Ferguson left Aberdeen after 7 years of great success with them, winning a total of 10 domestic and European titles. In 1985, he moved on to coach the Scottish national team, despite the rumors of joining Manchester United. Indeed, those rumors were true, and within just 1 year, Ferguson was appointed as the new manager of the Red Devils. In his first days, Ferguson raised the slogan of discipline, commitment, and hard work in order to rectify matters and improve the team's performance. And his famous statement that his goal was to topple Liverpool from the throne was tantamount to declaring a state of emergency and raising the ceiling of the challenge to its highest levels. The results were not satisfactory during the first season, but Ferguson knew that success required patience and persistence. The following season showed signs of progress, with the team achieving good results and finishing second in the table. However, they were not yet contenders for the title, as Liverpool was 9 points clear of the Devils. Nevertheless, the players' improved performance and teamwork were the most important that season. Ferguson remained determined to move on and took steps to strengthen the team through important transfers However, in the next two seasons, the team struggled and finished in 11th and 13th place, respectively. Despite winning the League Cup in 1990, there were calls for Ferguson's dismissal, which almost led to his departure from the club. Ferguson remained calm about that situation, as he had a deep understanding of the team's shortcomings and issues, and was the only one capable of fixing them. He just needed time and some new players, and had what he wanted by renewing confidence in him and bringing in some new players. As a result, the team's performance significantly improved during the 90-91 season, as they finished 6th in the league and won the Cup Winners' Cup, after defeating Barcelona in the final. This positive development prompted Ferguson to declare publicly that the biggest challenge is to win the league title next year, and that his team is ready to obtain that title. The team approached the next season with great enthusiasm and delivered their best performance under Ferguson's leadership since his appointment. For the first time, they were serious contenders for the title until the final round of the competition. Unfortunately, they narrowly missed out on the title and finished second, just 2 points behind the champions, Leeds United. Despite this, they managed to win their first League Cup title in the club's history. Thus, the 91-92 season was the turning point in Ferguson's career with Manchester United, and a stern warning to all opponents that the team is coming back again. His 7th season with United was the season of success, the season of winning the league title for the first time in 26 years. After the great improvement in the team's defensive line, it was necessary to increase the offensive line as well. Ferguson asked the administration to sign the deadly French striker, Eric Cantona. And he was correct in his vision, as Cantona, accompanied by Welsh striker Mark Hughes, formed an indomitable attacking duo that succeeded in destroying opponents' defenses and resulted in winning the first league title for the team under Ferguson, in the first version of the league's new name Premier League, in 1993. The team continued their career in the following season with the same strength and power. Rather, it has become more mature and fierce, especially after signing the Irishman, Roy Keane, which resulted in retaining the Premier League title, in addition to winning the FA Cup, giving Ferguson his first double with the team. With 2 league titles in a row, Ferguson had already fulfilled his promise of returning to dominate English football. However, the team's high spirits were dampened by the infamous incident involving Cantona, when he kicked a Crystal Palace fan in the chest in the match between his team against Palace, which led to a long suspension for Cantona. Due to Cantona's absence, one of the team's key attacking players, United suffered a setback in the following season, and eventually lost the Premier League title after a draw with West Ham in the last match. Winning that match would have been enough to retain their title, but it slipped away to Blackburn Rovers. The team also lost the FA Cup final to Everton, leaving them with no trophies that season, after being close to winning the domestic double once again. From a technical standpoint, the team's season was decent and comparable to the 2 previous seasons. However, in the 95-96 season, Ferguson decided to inject new energy into the team by relying on young players like Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes, David Beckham, and Gary Neville, and abandoning some stars in the team, including Paul Ince and Mark Hughes. And after the first loss in the league against Aston Villa, journalist Alan Hansen criticized Ferguson, saying, "How can you win with this group of children?" Despite the team's significant 14-point lag behind Newcastle in the league, Ferguson showed great confidence in his players. This showcased his mental and psychological fortitude, as he engaged in a war of statements with Newcastle United manager Kevin Keegan, successfully putting him under immense psychological pressure and causing his team to drop numerous points. And with the return of Cantona, Manchester United took the advantage and eventually won the title. The team also won the FA Cup title after beating their rivals, Liverpool, in the final with Cantona's goal. They then maintained the Premier League title the following season, their 4th title in the last 5 years. In that season, They had a great appearance at the European level, as the team succeeded in reaching the Champions League semi-finals. Although they lost to Borussia Dortmund, it marked a significant accomplishment for the team. And it seems that after every 2 successful seasons, the team's performance declined in the following season. In that year, and after fierce competition in the Premier League, Arsenal, led by their new manager, Arsene Wenger, managed to snatch the title, leading by 1 point above Fergie's team. This event marked the beginning of Ferguson's ongoing rivalry with Arsene Wenger, and the league subsequently became more exciting and competitive. The team also failed to cross the Monaco hurdle in the Champions League quarter-finals. Season 98-99 was Ferguson's 13th season with the team, the season of the first and only historic triple in the history of English clubs. Prior to the start of the season, Ferguson had a talented group of players, whom he imbued with a mentality of determination and a constant drive for victory. Additionally, he signed the Rock, Jaap Stam, to lead the team's defense. During that time, Manchester outperformed one of the most formidable Arsenal teams in the club's history. Despite a draw in the first leg and a 3-2 loss in the second leg against them, they managed to snatch the league title by a single point in a dramatic finish. Additionally, in a crazy match in the semi-finals, they eliminated the Gunners from FA Cup. During the last minutes of the match, Peter Schmeichel saved a penalty kick, and Ryan Giggs scored a legendary goal, which secured their place in the final against Newcastle United. And in the final, they beat Newcastle United with 2 clean goals. The historic treble was completed with an outstanding victory in the Champions League. The unbelievable moment started in the semi-final against Juventus, where team made a stunning comeback after being down by 2 goals. And the most famous return was in the final against Bayern Munich, as they were losing with a single goal until the end of the 90 minutes. German fans were ready to celebrate their win, but Teddy Sheringham scored the equalizer during stoppage time, followed by the winning goal, after 1 minute, from substitute Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, securing the victory for the Red Devils to win the European trophy that had been missing since 1968. The press launched the term Fergie time to describe the team's ability to make comebacks in the last minutes of difficult matches, while Queen Elizabeth bestowed the title of Sir upon the legendary manager to honor his achievements, particularly this historic treble. In the next 2 seasons, Sir Alex was seeking to renew the players' motivation and desire. After winning all those tournaments, some players could have been caught off guard by complacency and indifference. However, the team were able to maintain its distinguished level and able to retain the Premier League title in these 2 seasons. In addition, they had good performances in the Champions League, but were not lucky and knocked out by Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, the champions in the 2 seasons. Ferguson was always looking forward and was not satisfied with the titles he achieved, but rather entered the transfer market in the summer of 2001 in order to strengthen the team in all positions, beginning with French goalkeeper Fabien Barthez to striker Ruud van Nistelrooy, ending with Britain's most expensive deal at the time, when Sebastian Veron signed for £28 million from Lazio. Despite the new signings, the team failed to keep up with Arsenal and lost the Premier League title for them. Sir Alex began thinking about leaving the club and retiring from the world of coaching, enjoying the achievements he had throughout his entire career. However, fortunately for Manchester United fans, he eventually changed his mind and decided to continue for another 2 or 3 years. Ferguson once again demonstrated his mental and psychological fortitude during the 2002-2003 season. In addition to his tactical acumen and match management skills, the Scottish coach possessed an incredible ability to handle psychological battles. He was able to relieve his team and players from pressure and put it onto their opponents, thereby providing his team with a psychological edge. The team was able to make a remarkable comeback in the second half of the season, after trailing behind Arsenal by 8 points. eventually clinching the Premier League title. However, the season was not without controversy, as a fallout between Ferguson and the team's star player David Beckham resulted in Beckham's transfer to Real Madrid. The following 3 seasons were relatively unremarkable for Manchester United, as they failed to win the league title in any of those seasons, from Arsenal's invincible season to Chelsea's dominance under their new manager, Jose Mourinho. The team also struggled in European competitions. However, they were able to win the FA Cup in 2004 and the League Cup in 2006. The primary objective that Sir Alex Ferguson saw during that period was not winning those 2 titles, but rather infusing new life into the team. A significant characteristic of Ferguson's leadership style was his ability to ensure smooth transitions from one generation of players into another, which played a significant role in keeping the team at the top level for long periods. Thus, after bringing in the talented boy Cristiano Ronaldo in 2003, Ferguson signed Wayne Rooney, Van der Sar, and Park Ji-sung in the following years, to end the renewal revolution with defenders Evren Vidic and midfielder Michael Carrick. A new generation of players Ferguson described as his best team with the club. The generation that secured the Premier League title for 3 consecutive years, to match Liverpool's record of 18 Premier League titles, and the generation which had a formidable performance in the Champions League during those 3 seasons. After being knocked out by AC Milan in the 2006-2007 semi-finals, they made a resounding return to the competition and made it to the final to face Chelsea, who were looking for their first title. The match ended in a draw, with goals from Ronaldo and Frank Lampard. After the 2 teams went for the penalty kicks, Ronaldo missed his one, and John Terry had a chance to hit the winning kick, but he missed it, reviving the Devils' hopes of winning their 3rd European star. In the end, Manchester United won the title, and Ronaldo won his first Ballon d'Or, the only Ferguson player to win it. Then in 2009, the team reached the Champions League final once again and faced one of the best Barcelona squads, led by manager Pep Guardiola and their superstar Lionel Messi. However, Ferguson was unable to beat that team and lost with the goals of Eto'o and Messi. At the time, the club lost Cristiano Ronaldo's services as he moved to Real Madrid, where Perez was building his 2nd generation of Galacticos. Since then, Ferguson has been solely focused on fulfilling the promise he made to himself to secure enough league titles to surpass the number of titles held by their rivals Liverpool and establish Manchester United as the leading force in the English Premier League. However, his first attempt fell short as they lost the league to Chelsea in 2010 by a single point. In the following season, Sir Alex managed to clinch the title this time, and as in 2009, the team reached the Champions League final against Barcelona. But once again, they lost this match by 3-1 goals. Ferguson described this match as the most difficult throughout his entire coaching career. The end is now approaching, and the separation between the club and their legendary manager is imminent, and the performance of several players began to decline. Thus, the negative results started to appear. The team was unable to qualify from their group in the Champions League for the first time in many years. But Ferguson's shrewdness and experience prevented the team from falling further, and they came close to retaining the Premier League title if it weren't for Agüero's legendary goal, which handed their crosstown rivals Manchester City their first title in 44 years, during their memorable clash against Queen's Park Rangers, on a day that the Sir Alex described as the worst in his life. Manchester United fans who were stunned by that goal were facing another shock that they could never bear. Sir Alex Ferguson will leave the club at the end of next season. The championships can be won, and cups can be regained, but where do we get another Ferguson when he leaves? Such were the words of the sad fans who were preparing to watch Ferguson's last farewell season. Alex Ferguson bid farewell to his fans in the best way in that last season, 2012-2013. after winning his 13th Premier League title with the club during the 27 years he had in the Red Castle. To bring Manchester United to the 20th Premier League title, the fans bid farewell to their manager with tears, sadness, pride, and gratitude. Alex Ferguson departed with great honor, having fulfilled his promise to bring glory to the club. His remarkable achievement of 48 championships, including 38 with the Red Devils, solidified his status as the most successful manager in history. His legacy will forever be remembered as one of the greatest in the history of football.